Hey guys, back at it with the '05 GMC Duramax LLY. I am replacing the fuel filter head today. The truck, I noticed last time I primed it, when I was pumping the primer, the electrical connection here was bubbling. So there's air escaping, and it's I believe an O-ring seal that seals this electrical connector on the fuel filter head. And so I took a spray bottle at one point with water and soap in it and sprayed it in there, and I noticed the bubbles are sucking into the fuel filter head. So obviously that's not good. Air's getting introduced to the system, and I noticed longer cranking times on the truck, so I figured this would probably be a good time to do it, especially now that it's in my driveway instead of somewhere and I can't get it to crank. So I'm going to replace the fuel filter head along with these two rubber hoses, which is definitely recommended to do. And the assembly that I got was a GM assembly. So GM OEM AC Delco assembly, and that's, from what I've heard, recommended, especially after reading some reviews. The other brands usually don't last, don't hold up, or even out of the box don't work. So I got the AC Delco whole assembly with the water separator at the bottom, and so we'll see how it goes. I'll show you the process I went through, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's just good to prepare. I always like to watch these videos myself, just to prepare and make sure I got everything, because typically you tend to miss one thing or don't have the right tool or whatever it is. So yeah, what I'm looking at, like I said, a couple hoses, the electrical connection up here, the water separator and connection down there, and then the two mounting bolts. So that should be pretty much it. So here we go. So the old fuel filter head is out. It is right here. You just have to make sure when you get yours that these fuel lines coming out, the metal lines, are in the right direction. I think for the LB7 they're in a different direction. For the LLY and up to, I think, LMM, I believe the fuel filter heads are the same. So just make sure you're getting the right one for your model year. But yeah, so I took it out. So I just took the not on the fuel filter head side, but on, I guess you can call the engine side, the two fuel hoses. I took the clamps off there and then removed it, so it's just easier as a one-piece assembly. I had to take off my intake tube. I assume it would probably be the same for a stock intake tube. This one's just a little bit different, the S&B. So I took that off. I disconnected the EGR electrical connector. That gave me enough access to the one of those fuel lines, which hooks up where this cloth is. You can kind of see in there where it goes, but yeah, it kind of connects up in there and then goes down to your fuel filter head. And then down there where the other cloth is, below this electrical box, there's the other connection. There was a bracket where there was a clamp, kind of like a zip tie type thing. I just cut that off because it was kind of a pain to get my tool down there. I needed a longer needle nose to get the clamp off, so I just cut it, and I'll just use a zip tie after. So the tools I used, not those ones down there, but these right here. This has been a handy tool. I just got this actually for the clips for the fender liner. But yeah, these are just kind of standard tools. I just used tin snips to cut that clamp. Pretty much standard tools. You do, I guess technically you don't need it, but a Torx bit for the top of the fuel filter housing. There's a ground wire, and right there, the ground wire connects here. But on my new assembly, it comes with a new harness, like a new harness that connects here and your ground. So you could have just cut it, but so I guess it's not very necessary depending on your part that you get. So what else? Let's see. These are some just, again, standard tools that I used. 12 millimeter to get the mounting bolts off. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward, pretty simple. The fuel line up here does not leak, or mine did not leak when I took it off. The fuel line down there did leak a little bit, but there's nothing really under it to be affected. I was kind of more worried about this one because there's some electronics and stuff, but that one didn't leak. Yeah, pretty standard, pretty simple. So I will put it back together and I'll let you know if anything else changes. Got the fuel filter head in with the rubber lines connected. Everything is basically in. I'm at the point of having to prime the system. So I'll just show quick. It's getting dark out, but it was pretty easy to get in. I cut the rubber lines to length and then connected those rubber lines to the fuel filter head on this side and then installed it all as an assembly. So made everything kind of going pretty smoothly. The wire here, this should be on the other side of the filter, but I noticed it was in the wrong spot once I installed it. So next time I change this filter, I'll just flip the wire back on the other side. It's not a big deal. But the next step is priming. So I just cracked open the bleeder screw. It's not fully open or fully off, but it's just kind of hanging there. And then you prime it until fuel comes out of there. So you can kind of hear the fuel or the air coming out, perhaps. I don't know if you can on the camera. But you just keep pumping until fuel comes out in a nice steady stream without bubbles. And this is the nicest priming fuel filter head I've ever used. Obviously this is brand new, so it should feel this way, but it just feels very nice and smooth. It's almost sucking air back in. Oh, all right. He's got to get it right. You'll hear the air coming out. Seems like it's sucking air back in when I let go. There it goes. Bubble in now. It's pissing out. So that's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. Don't do that too tight. From personal experience, I have broken that, but I'll tighten that up, clean the area up that I just spilled diesel all over, and then I'll start it up. So just cranked it, took about 7-ish seconds to turn over, and so you just want to keep the fender liner off, just monitor for leaks, and should be good. So let me know if you have any questions.